one more thing that I will talk with us about on this, and that is I showed you how it looks in a line. So meaning an octave, come over here. An octave is the space from here to here, and we happen to have 12 events in that octave.
That's what I was going to do.
And then 13 is the octave, because we don't have 0 in music. So that's part of why math doesn't work the way we think it should. 2, 3, 13.
So this one's 13 and 1?
13 and 1, yes. Or, see, that's if you think of it chromatically. That's if you think of all 12 pitches. But most of the time, we only think of 8 or 7, because 1 is 8. So what I mean by that is, look, 8. Both of those things happen in that space, but they're different, and so we look at them differently. We look at one of them as being a value of 12 or 13, and the other as being a value of 7 or 8. So if you were to try to cut this in half, you'd run into a problem. So half of this is here. It's called the devil's tone, a tritone. It's the mirror of the image, but it's a false mirror. It is a mirror because it's half of it, but it's not functional in harmony. If we were to take this octave and then divide it into a third, we would end up with this. Nice, comfortable sound. If we were to take it and divide it in a fourth, we would end up with this. If we were to take it and divide it in, say, 3/4, we would end up with this. And then if we were to 1/1, or 8/1, or 1/8, we'd be back to our octave or our original. So that's if you're looking at it on a straight line. But as I pointed out, there's a hinge point. Any of those notes will work in sequence with one another just because they are a part of the same harmonic series. We could literally just pick numbers right now in any given order, and I could make music out of it. It may not sound perfectly pleasing, but it would work. Any numbers we wanted, we could make music out of, as long as we put them in the context of a harmonic key, which exists between an octave. And, Barry?
Well, that was pretty well what I was going to say.
There is one more way we can look at it if you really want to go into Fibonacci.
Had more than enough. Some of them might remember this from listening to a child play the piano. Okay, he did that over here. He did it here. What, 1/3 apart?
Yes, okay. A third difference, yes.
Okay, so you've heard that before.
Intervals.
You are used to, I just play the key of C. And then C again. That's all the white keys. Okay, and it sounds correct. If I play all 12 keys, like you did fast, but I do it slow, they're the same percentage apart, but it sounds terrible. Now that was all 12 or 13 notes between C and an octave higher. It doesn't sound like all the white keys. Okay, if you use the black keys, now I gotta fill C sharp to C sharp, and it sounded okay, but I happened to play it in 5 sharps. Okay, if you're used to the keyboard signature. So we're picking just the right 7 out of 12 possibilities that fit together harmoniously.
Yes,
they're
exactly.
all
We make
described.
choices, but we could also choose 5 or 6 instead of 12. A lot of people do choose 5.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what note I pick out of those 5 notes, I can't go wrong. And no matter what order you pick them in. So if
really
I were to
helps if
use
you're
these
singing.
5,
So a lot of songs, 5 notes, the 5 notes that make up the song, you can sing the song. You just need to know those 5 notes.
yeah.
And one of the keys to singing.
And the reason I mentioned working this pattern all the way up to the 15th rung is that's where it ties itself in to make a series. Prior to that, the best we can make is pentatonic, which is 5-note series, or 6-note series. Bluesna is 6 notes. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. 6 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. There's not 8 notes in that scale. There's just 6. But in a pentatonic scale, there would be 5. And it's one of the many ways we could choose to break up the space between an octave. If you travel outside the West, you will hear many other ways in which the octave has been broken down, sometimes into 64 parts.
Okay.
So, but this is
You've got
where
more?
we have it. Yes, there's one, it's just a picture.
Oh, okay.
So.